What is happening, Steeler Nation? What's going on, good people, man? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement, aka the virtual Heinz Field. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope you guys are well. I'm well, and that's all that matters. The Steelers seem to be well. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight. One real topic, really, man. We're just going to kind of, recap the draft. And I want to throw it to you guys wholeheartedly. I hope we get some decent calls tonight. Or even if you don't call, it's fine. Put it in the chat. The question really will be directed towards you guys. How would you grade the Steelers draft? How do you feel about the draft in general? And that's pretty much the only topic I have. So before I get started, guys, I'm going to jump right into saying hello to the early commenters. Right after that, we'll cut on the timer and we'll start rolling. What's up to Ron Simpson Gaming? How you doing tonight, sir? Miss Lanisha. Hello, Miss Lanisha. Appreciate you coming through. How you doing tonight, Miss Lady? Charlie Brown. Angie, a.k.a. Baby Steeler. Hello, Miss Lady. How you doing tonight? Hope you are well as well. Jordan Mid. Jersey Boy 70, the Art Steeler 937, Mr. Winningham, how you doing tonight, sir? Steeler Lee, Daredevil, my good buddy Y Diggy in the building, Neil Shanoy, Vista Light, Brian Williams, hello, Mr. Covington Sr., how you doing tonight, Mr. Covington? Appreciate you coming by as well. Always good to see you. Lawyer L, C. Antoine Hill, Michael Wade. Who else we got up in here? I guess we'll hold it tight right about there. All right. So hello to all of the early commenters again. That's what it's for, that, right? The early commenters. No need of me continuing to wait for other people to show up. But how's everybody doing tonight, man? Again, we're going to talk about the draft. Got one little minor thing to talk about first. We'll talk a little bit about Devin Bush really quick. And then again, I'm just going to go into the picks. I'm going to be open and honest. I'm going to say this when I get to that as well. I expect there'll be more people here before I get there, so I might repeat this. I don't know each and every player. I have not watched each and every player. That is my homework. I love that part of this process after the draft, going in, looking at what guys, who these guys are, what they can do, what I think they can bring to the Steelers, especially after you hear, little tidbits from rookie camp and all of that. I love this part. You know who's there. There's no more speculation. There's no more saying this guy would be good for us, whether you hate him or love him. You know who's on the team for the most, well, not on the team, but you know who will more than likely be going into camp. So you can start to look at that and, gather the information. So I look forward to doing that. I know some of these guys, but I don't know the entire group of guys that were drafted. I do not, and I definitely don't know the entire group of UDFAs. But like I said, we'll talk in general about what I feel about the draft, and it's more so about you guys. And sorry, guys, I keep moving around. Don't you hate sometimes when a chair starts squeaking? Y'all hear that? Every time I move, I can hear it going. I think it might be time to get another chair or something like that. A little pet peeve of mine. But anyway, let's get into it, man. So real quick, let's talk about Devin Bush first before we dive into our thoughts about the draft. Steelers are not picking up his fifth-year option. Of course, some of you guys may have seen the independent video that I made dedicated to that, but I'll share a little bit of that here as well. I don't think any of us should be surprised. Devin Bush has gone through some ups and has gone through some downs. No question about it. And I still believe that last year was more about his injury than it was his ability. Why do you say that, some people may ask? Well, let's go back, fast forward to his rookie season. Devin Bush, by the end of that season, we were all saying, man, this kid could be something. I think most of us were saying that, right? And even if you wasn't saying that, you were saying, let's give this kid time to develop, right? So even if you didn't think Devin Bush had a solid rookie year, you were at least saying, let's give him some time to develop. Boom, season 2 happens. I forget exactly which game it was, but Devin Bush was only like 3 games or so into the season, if I remember correctly. Goes down, And if you watch the game like I do, you pretty much called what it was as soon as he went down, non-contact. You just knew. And it's a certain way that these guys go down and they have their helmet down on the ground and their hands here and their feet like crossed. I'm giving a very graphic picture there, but you guys know what I'm talking about. When you see them down like that, you know what it is. It's the same thing that we saw when Dupree went down and other people in the NFL. When their head is down like that, it's pain along with them realizing what this is, along with them realizing that their season is over. So all of the above happening to Devin Bush, I saw that and I said, man, that's probably an ACL. He goes down, comes back last season, third season, and you would consider it a catastrophic injury, I guess you want to call that. Very serious injury. Not only is it a serious injury because of the body, but the mind as well. You know, anytime you have a injury to a limb or something that you're using, an elbow, like Ben Roethlisberger, a shoulder, a knee, whatever the case may be, there's going to be some hesitation. That's human nature. And I think we saw that from Devin Bush. This is my opinion. Listen, I have no way to validate this. I'm only going off of the eye test. So y'all are never going to hear me speak in absolutes like some people try to do. Analysts try to do. Fans try to do. You don't know. There's no way for you to know absolutely. I'm just giving my, I like to call it educated opinion. And the reason why I say educated because I look at different factors and things before I just throw an opinion out there. I try to tie things together. The eye test told me that Devin Bush was very tentative. His game on film, when I looked at the tape, when we watched the game live, we all could probably agree with that. But what started happening? Remember what I was saying towards the end of the season. Some of y'all would remember this. I kept saying, man, I think Devin Bush played better in that last game. That was the first week. The next week after that, Devin Bush has looked better in these last two games. And then ended up getting to a point where I was saying, man, Devin Bush has actually played a lot better these last 4 or 5 games. Because remember, it was towards the end of the season. I would say, I don't know exactly, but I would estimate, I think that was around week 14-ish. 14, 13 maybe. I don't remember, but you guys would recall that. I started saying, nah, man, Devin Bush is playing a lot better. And then the narrative from me started being, I think he's starting to trust it a little better. And maybe next year we'll see what he has. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, or whenever that was. Video comes out of Devin Bush on Twitter. And I mean, he's chopping, boom, cutting. He's doing a little side, testing his lateral movement, fast feet. And of course, people are overreacting and underreacting. What I mean by overreacting, underreacting, some people are automatically saying, oh, so what? He's not going to do that in the game. And then you have people saying, oh, he's going to have a crazy season. All speculation, right? But what it showed me was, oh, if you moving like that, oh, you trust your knee now. So what Devin Bush did, maybe unknowingly or maybe knowingly, he just told the world it ain't the knee. So now all excuses are off as far as from my opinion. There's no excuse I can give to him anymore. If you can move like that in shorts, then you're telling me you trust your movement. So now I expect you to go out and play fast. Play like Devin Bush from rookie season. And we'll see. But again, it's no secret why the Steelers probably didn't pick up fifth-year option because performance just didn't match it. And unfortunately, you got to include injury in that mix, but that's the game. That's the game. NFL and professional teams don't always pay you off of, he'll bounce back. No, it's sometimes when it comes to money and business, you got to deal in reality. And I'm going to deal in reality right now and give a shout out to Kev So Fun with this donation in reality. Let's get into that. Round of applause to Kev So Fun. He says, Sim, I wonder how you and Kenya feel about us having 2 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, and what was your favorite pick? And Colbert final press conference was emotional. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get into that, Kev So Fun. So if you could just hold tight just for a moment. I'm about to go right into the draft here. And Kenyon can definitely give you his thoughts. I'm sure he will here in the comments. And by the way, and I'm sure, as long as Kenyon is available, which he generally is, and whoever, Tony, if you want to join as well. I know Tony's schedule has changed, guys. So I know a lot of you have been asking me, where's Tony been when the steel table? But, Tony has a lot of other things, other stuff on his schedule that can't always be available to actually be a part of the show. I see he's here tonight. So what's up, brother? But that's why you haven't seen Tony in a while. He got other obligations and things like that, all right? So always extend that, that invite to Tony whenever he's available. He knows it doesn't even matter, come whenever you want. But as long as Kenyon is available, maybe we'll do a draft recap steel table next week. The only reason why I didn't do it this Tuesday is I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to call and give your thoughts. And then, me and Kenyon can kind of wrap it up come next week. But yeah, it definitely, Colbert's press conference was emotional, man. I mean, it was just that. You saw his real emotion come out. It hit him, and it's, I can only imagine, it's probably very similar to players that when they retire and they've been doing something for so long and something that you love. Obviously, Kevin Colbert loved it. But what was really touching to me, and it showed you his level of commitment and how much it meant to him to say before he came in the door, there were 4 trophies. And he knew what that meant to the Rooney family and the Steelers organization to get more and to be able to walk out, like he basically said, to be able to leave knowing that he was a part of adding those 2 additional trophies. It's priceless. So I definitely appreciated that because you saw his real emotion tied to that connection. You know what I mean? So that was cool. But, Kevin Colbert is kind of saying he's open to some other type of position within the organization that's just not the GM role. And we've heard this before as well. So we'll see. Maybe we haven't heard the last from Kevin Colbert. Let's see. Anything else I need to say on Devin Bush? I think I've covered it pretty good there. Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. But again, I don't think it should be a surprise to anyone that they didn't pick up the 5th-year option. And you let Terrell Edmonds, be a recent example that, the Steelers could land him again. You never know. His market might not be as high if he doesn't have a great season. But what if Devin Bush goes out there and has a phenomenal season? Then, it's a win-win situation. He can get some money. And maybe the Steelers can pay him or not. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a win-win situation. He either gets paid or he ends up landing back with the Steelers. Or worst case scenario, he just doesn't seem to have it and he's out of the league. I hope that doesn't happen. But what I actually expect to happen after seeing that video, how he can move, I expect him to be back mentally and play fast and get back to more reaction instead of being timid. And I'm thinking guys like Miles Jack is going to help bring that out of him as well. So that's going to be cool to watch and see. Let's see. Let's get into... Kev So Fun says he's just getting over Malik Willis. How you guys feel about him going to the Titans, man, and where he went? And I'm going to get into that. So let's do it in reverse. Let's talk a little bit about the UDFAs first. Right, so I'll just name these guys off. And again, tonight's show is us all interacting together. I'm going to be leaning on you guys. I want to hear you guys' thoughts about some of these players that you might be familiar with. Then what I will do is I'll talk about the draft order backwards because I'm going to end with Kenny Pickett. And then, of course, I'm going to open it up to phone calls. See, we already have 2 in the queue. So let's read off some of these names. Man, Steelers agree to terms with the following UDFAs. There's an offensive tackle, a Jake Dixon from Duquesne. I think that's how you pronounce that. Let me put this in the comments. I think I'm confusing this. Duquesne and this school I always get confused with, or either it is the same school and the spelling is so weird. So y'all tell me, Y'all tell me. Y'all, I'm showing y'all my real vulnerable moment here. I'll never forget or never remember how this school is pronounced. I'm going to spell it. Duquesne. Again, Duquesne. And I'm openly admitting to you guys, I can't remember whether or not that is actually Duquesne. Now I'm thinking that's a different school. But whenever I see that, I think that. Y'all tell me, how do you pronounce that school? I'm gonna wait here for a moment, just to see if anybody can answer that. It is Duquesne. Okay, see, thank you, Michael Wade. I knew, my brain knew that, but for some reason, every time I see the spelling of that, I'm like, maybe not. All right, thank you, man. Thank you. All right, so let's keep it moving. So, again, offensive tackle Jake Dixon from Duquesne. Running back Mateo Durant. Hearing a lot about this kid. I don't really know much about him in terms of watching him. So again, I got a lot of homework cut out for me, and I'm looking forward to it. This is one of my favorite parts, man, of the post draft, is me watching film and learning about these guys. Think about Deontay Johnson. I did the same thing with Deontay Johnson, remember? And I came back and gave y'all a report like, yo, this kid got something. I didn't know who Deontay Johnson was. That year he got drafted, I had not seen any Toledo games. So this is one of my favorite parts of the post-draft or off-season periods right here. So again, running back Mateo Durant from Duke. Defensive lineman Donovan Jeter from Michigan. Now that's pedigree right there, so I'm definitely going to look at him and see what he's got. Outside linebacker Tyree Johnson. I'm familiar with him a little bit. I remember seeing him a little bit last season when I was looking at Buddy Johnson. So now I got to go back and pay a little more attention to him. Outside linebacker Tyree Johnson from Texas A&M. Outside linebacker T.D. Moultrie from Auburn. I'm hearing some people make some noise about that kid. I'm not familiar. Offensive guard Chris Owens from Alabama. Not familiar. Cornerback Chris Steele from Southern Cal. I'm not familiar, but can y'all guess who is familiar with that guy? I'll give you one chance to guess. Can you guess who's familiar with this kid? And I have been told that said person is very familiar with Chris Steele, so he's waiting for me to view him so we can kind of cross-reference our thoughts on him. Offensive tackle Jordan Tucker from North Carolina, I'm not familiar. Running back Jalen Warren from Oklahoma State, I'm not familiar. And cornerback Bryce Watts out of UMass, which I wasn't familiar, but I got a little familiar with him just yesterday, I believe, when I watched the Pitt versus UMass. All right, and the reason why I watched that game, obviously, because of Kenny Pickett, as well as I knew this kid was on the roster, and I said, oh, let me watch that game so I can kind of kill two birds with one stone. So he did some decent things in that game, but again, I haven't watched any of those guys enough to really know who they are. Round of applause to Kev So Fun with another donation. He says, Sim, the running back from Duke, he said, we heard he's a gem. The offseason production is high on him. Yeah, shout outs to offseason, offseason production? Is that? Yeah, he knows who he is. So in case he stumbles across this channel, shout outs to you. You do great work over there, man. As well as, let's shout out Steeler Nation highlights. And the reason why I say definitely want to shout them out, because those, Steeler Nation highlights is really quick with free agents or draft picks or whatever, and compiling a montage for people who just want to give take a quick peek at what this person can be. Of course, you got to watch all of the tape. You got to watch a full game to really learn somebody. But shout outs to those, those other content creators, man, that put out some great content and great work. So shout outs and hats off to you guys. But I don't know much about them, so my homework is cut out for me. So I'll ask you guys really quick before I move on. Is there any one of those guys that you guys are familiar with? Number one. Number two, are you excited that we got him as a UDFA? You guys are going to have to let me know. Let me see what y'all got here in the chat. Why Diggy says, I got to look at Durant. His name has been on my YouTube algorithm. Yeah, mine too. It's weird. Let's see. Wave Dave says Durant might push McFarland out. Very possible, man. Unfortunately, McFarland just hasn't been. You know what I mean? He just has not been. And that's all I can say. Miss Debbie, how you doing tonight, Miss Debbie? Debbie says, there is a report out that the kid from Duke has a largest ever contract for an UDFA. Oh, interesting. Okay. That is very interesting, especially, I mean, it's not a lot, but it's still the most. So it's interesting if the Steelers did do that and a running back, especially when you have a guy like Najee Harris, who's clearly your number one. You know, if you're showing that type of interest in a UDFA, then that could definitely mean trouble time for somebody on the roster. Anyone else? Anyone else? Bettsburg said he's excited about Mateo as well. I hope I'm saying that kid's name right. Carmichael, the sports guru, says the Steelers are high on Durant. They gave him the okay. Yep, he said the same thing Debbie just said. Yes, Kev, so fun. He is the Duke running back. Anyone else, guys? Anyone else? Out of those names that I just read, let me read them again for anyone who may be coming in here a little late. UDFAs. Offensive tackle, Jake Dixon. Running back, Mateo Durant. Defensive lineman, Donovan Jeter. Outside linebacker, Tyree Johnson. Outside linebacker, T.D. Moultrie. Offensive guard, Chris Owens. Cornerback, Chris Steele. Offensive tackle, Jordan Tucker. Running back, Jalen Warren. And cornerback, Bryce Watts. So please let me know if any of you guys are familiar with any of them. Do any of them make you excited or anything of that nature? We do have another donation. Round of applause to Steeler Lee. Appreciate that. Steeler Lee says, watch the Sauce Gardner versus Calvin Austin tape. Huge upside with Austin. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Austin here in a moment. Man. And I'm going to tell you right now, the first 4 picks in this draft is where my grade is going to lie. It would kind of shape my overall grade for this draft. Wave Dave says the offensive lineman from Alabama is a sleeper. Okay. Okay. And yeah, I even heard that they said Sauce said that this kid was a tough cover. So interesting. But all right, man, let's get into the rest of the draft picks, and then I'm going to open it up to phone calls. Like I said, and I didn't even cut my timer on. So I have an internal timer on tonight. So let's get into it. So let's do this in reverse order. The Pittsburgh Steelers select in the 7th round, pick 241, Chris Oludokin. I think that's how you say his name. Chris Oludokin, quarterback out of South Dakota State. Have not watched any film on him. A buddy of mine that is pretty much like another Kenyan. I mean, this other guy that I know, he has gone to school for scouting and all that. I mean, he's serious. He has told me some things about this guy that sound promising. Not saying he's going to be a starter or anything like that, but I'll get to my point here in just a moment. But very interesting that the Steelers, not only did they draft the guy, I mean, you knew they were going to, well, you didn't know that because, God rest the dead. Rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins. But even when Dwayne Haskins was in the fold, it was said at that time that the Steelers had 2 quarterbacks in the contract. They then brought in Mitch Trubisky, which was 3, and Kevin Colbert. Ben told us they were going to go to camp with 4, so you expected them to, draft the 4th guy. And obviously, we knew they were going to do that early on. It was going to be one of the top projected guys. I don't think anyone saw them drafting one of their top guys and then another guy in the draft. I thought maybe in this case you would do a UDFA quarterback, right? So you pay attention to it a little bit that they drafted him, even though it's the 7th round. You got to pay attention to that. But more so, the highlights that they showed on the draft. Like I'm telling you right now, I have not watched the full game. I'm going to do so. But just the highlights, I saw the style of QB that I think this guy is. I saw him running some zone reads and things of that nature and play action, and he scrambles and he takes off and he can run. So that immediately let me know, one, Mason Rudolph is in serious trouble going into this camp. I think Mason Rudolph is in trouble. Now, the Steelers' traditional way is that they would more than likely keep Mason Rudolph and maybe put this kid on the practice squad. That's probably what's going to happen, but you never know. You never know. If this dude comes in, man, and he's able to operate the offense better than Rudolph, I don't know how much dead money is attached to Rudolph's deal, but you just never know what could happen, right? But we'll see. It's just, again, it's very interesting, man, when you look at who the Steelers signed in a Mitch Trubisky, this kid, and then Kenny Pickett. It's clear the type of quarterback they're looking for with some mobility, right? Just makes me wonder where Mason Rudolph fits into this whole puzzle. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Wow. But anyway, let's keep it moving. So yeah, that was the 7th round pick. The first 7th round pick was this guy, Mark Robinson. He's an inside linebacker for Ole Miss. Not too familiar with him. The little bit of him that I watched, he looks like a thumper. But again, I need to watch a game on him. But, you know, not upset about that at all, man. The only thing that's interesting is if you take a look at who's in that room right now, you know, Bush, you got Jack, Spillane, UG3, Buddy Johnson. It's going to be interesting to see who hangs on as an inside linebacker. Don't have much to report on it today. But like I said, all week I will be watching film and footage on all of these guys so me and Kenyon can have a real conversation next week about the draft picks. But we'll see. But not upset that the Steelers, you know, went with another linebacker. You know, I thought they may have gone more edge here in the draft, at some point in the draft. And I think they kind of did it in a hybrid way. We'll talk about that in a moment. So, again, man, 7th round draft picks are somewhat of a let's just give it a shot. You know Mike Tomlin's motto, doesn't matter how you got here. I actually like that because in our lifetime watching Coach Tomlin, we've seen living examples of that. Mike Hilton was an undrafted guy. James Harrison, an undrafted guy. You know what I mean? Trey Norwood. And I know some of you guys don't like Trey Norwood. Trey Norwood was a 7th round pick, and Norwood showing some promise. Norwood gave us some real snaps last year. So, again, I'm not going to poo-poo the idea that these guys are 7th rounders. You just never know. Now, the quarterback maybe won't have as much of an effect. You know, it might be a long shot for him to actually make the team. I do think it's going to put pressure on Mason Rudolph, but it all depends on how the Steelers feel. So he might not have as much of an impact, but who's to say a guy like Mark Robinson can't play his way in front of UG3 or play his way in front of Buddy Johnson? You know, because clearly I feel like if the Steelers were a little more comfortable at the inside linebacker position, right, then, you know what I mean? If they were comfortable there, they would have been like, well, you know, we drafted Buddy Johnson last year. He could be our number 4, right? And then you think about what's the kid, the other guy we signed, I keep forgetting, Avery. Gennard Avery, I think his name is. He usually plays on the outside, but we've seen him line up in the inside as well. So it's like, it's going to be interesting. So who's to say that Mark Robinson won't be in the mix? We shall see. Then, in the 6th round, with pick 208, the Steelers select Connor Haywood, the younger brother of Cam Haywood. Now, I'm going to take a sip of water as I ponder on how I feel about this pick. Sip of water. Let me preface it by saying this. In the 6th round, I don't know who was still on the board. Again, I don't know all of these college players like these draft analysts seem to know them. I just don't know them all. So I can't right now say who else was there in the 6th round that we could have got. I don't know. And I'm sure other people know, but I don't. I'm sure our good buddies over at Depot probably know because these guys have draft profiles and all. I'm sure they know somebody or a couple people that they may have preferred in the 6th. Mine don't go that deep. In terms of saying, oh, this is who we should have taken. I couldn't tell you that deep in the draft. But just speaking on Connor Haywood, listen, I like the utility type of guy that he is. Obviously, he comes from a great bloodline, all the way to his father, Ironhead, down to our beloved Cam Haywood, right? He's a football player. I think he started off as a running back, so he's run capable. He's lined up at fullback. He's lined up at tight end. He's lined up at H-back. I mean, all different types of things. But my only question is, where does he fit in our scheme? Now, let's not forget, Matt Canada, I'm sure, and I think we've saw little signs of it. Matt Canada has some things in his arsenal that would include an H-back or, a guy like, so we could get him on the field. I just wonder if he's going to do enough to get a roster spot. Because we already got Derek Watt as a traditional fullback, and Derek Watt is an ace in special teams. Maybe some of y'all don't pay attention to that, but if you pay attention to that, y'all would know what I'm saying. He's an ace on special teams. So Derek Watt is, at this moment, his job security, I don't believe, is threatened. So it's going to make it that much more tougher for Connor Haywood to make the 53. Now, like I said, maybe there's a way we can get him on there. Maybe we keep one less tight end, because I heard Alfredo say that, they're bringing him in as a tight end, but he's not, he's nowhere near the height of any of our other tight ends. He's not going to be a traditional tight end in the NFL, but maybe that's a way you keep him on the roster. Like, say you only go with Freiermuth and Gentry, and then essentially Haywood takes that 3rd slot. So therefore, he doesn't have to interfere with Derek Watt's roster spot. You understand what I'm saying? There's always these little ways that you finagle the positions. It's the same way like how you have a guy who's just your return guy, but he's not used as a wide receiver. Same thing. There's different ways to do that. Shout outs to AKA Baby Steel and Miss Angie. Appreciate the donation. Round of applause. She says, hey, Sim, I watched film on Jaylen Warren. I think he's really good. What is your opinion about him? I'm glad to hear you say you watch film. I love it. I love when the ladies out there watching that film. Because, again, y'all know the stigma on ladies in football. They act like y'all don't know what y'all talking about. But not over here. These ladies that come over here, they be on it. So, shout outs to you, Angie, for watching the film. Me personally, and I said it a little bit earlier, I'm not familiar with Jaylen Warren. That's what I'm going to be doing all week, is watching the draft picks and the UDFA. I might not get to all of them this week in a week's time by next Tuesday, but I will watch some guys that I think have more of a chance to possibly make the team. Another running back has a chance, right? Because McFarland might be in trouble. So I'm definitely going to watch this kid and Mateo. And then I'll probably watch, let me pull the names up again, who I'm going to try to get in faster so me and Kenya can really dive in next week. I'm going to watch the 2 corners. And I might leave it at that as far as this week, because I really want to focus more so on the draft picks. But yeah, I will definitely watch both running backs and, kind of give you my thoughts and feels on those guys come next week. But yeah, I do like, I don't disagree with the Connor Haywood pick. I'm just trying to figure out where he's going to fit in. I did see why Diggy said we could kind of use him like Kyle Juszczyk. How do you say that dude's name? Juszczyk? These wild spellings with, people from different countries and stuff, man. It's always unique to see how names are spelled. I get a kick out of that. But yeah, you're right. We could definitely use him like that. So like I said, I think the Steelers I have a feeling they're going to try to hide him depth chart wise as a tight end and list him as like a third tight end. So that way you'll have him and Derek Watt on the roster. But we'll see. We'll see. He's going to have to play himself on the roster. So yeah. Yo, I got to bust out laughing at this, man. Listen. Look at that name, guys. Look at the name of the person that says, I'm new here. Joke's on us, right? Cut it out. You're trolling. You're definitely trolling with that name. If you are here to view and you're an actual viewer, hello, welcome. But wow, that is quite a name you have there. So I'm going to keep my eyes on your comments, and if they get rather trollish, gotta let you go. That's hilarious. All right, let's get back to business. And y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Keep an eye on the comments from that username. All right, let's get it. Let's get back to where we were. So 4th round pick, and this is where it gets good. This is where it gets good, folks. Pittsburgh Steelers select at pick 138, Calvin Austin III. I knew a little bit about him. I've seen a Memphis game or two, and I just knew he was a fast little guy. One of those smaller guys that had blazing speed. I remember seeing him in the combine, because you remember this year, it seemed like people were running 4.3s like nobody's business. Like everybody, 4.3, you get a 4.3. So I remembered a lot of those guys, especially in the wide receiver group, because I always watch those skill positions, wide receiver, corner, sometimes backs, just to see who puts up a ridiculous speed number. So I remembered him. Didn't really know too much about him because, again, like I said, I watched a game or two from Memphis this past season, but I wasn't paying attention to him. I just thought, that dude's kind of quick. But now after seeing him being picked, watched a game on him, and then I watched the highlights. The reason why I watched his highlights, I'm going to watch more of him, trust me. But the reason why I watched his highlights in particular, guys like this are usually gadget guys. So I wanted to see what his highs were. Because he's not going to be, he could be, but right now I don't see him being the every down receiver. He's probably going to play in the slot, but maybe not. Maybe he's not out there most of the time when we go 11. Maybe it's a rotation and it's a mix. However, from what I saw from him, and I'm going to go this far, y'all might not agree with me. I told Kenyon, I said, yo, we might mess around and have us a Tyreek Hill type of guy in Calvin Austin. Listen to what I'm saying. I am not saying he's just like Tyreek Hill. No, I'm just saying he's that type of guy. Blazer. And he's uber fast. Like quick. Not just fast. He is a quick guy. Football speed. Change of direction, all of the stuff that I've seen, and I can't wait to watch a full game to see his full body of work, his weaknesses and things like that. But man, just looking at what this dude is, definitely the deep threat, home run hitter, quick slant, house it, jet sweep, house it type of guy. And I think the Steelers did phenomenal here with this pick and the second pick, which we'll get to. Getting two guys, 2 receivers, mind you, that are going to contribute, I think, this season after losing 3 receivers. So you lose Juju, you lose Washington. Who else we lost? Ray McLeod, right? They immediately replaced Ray McLeod. And you saw how Canada used Ray. Cannot wait to see this guy used in that same capacity. It's going to be very interesting. And like I said, it was cool to see the Steelers double dip with receivers that you know are going to play. Understand what I'm saying? We've drafted more than one receiver before, but you wasn't quite sure if the guy was going to play. These dudes are going to play. So it's cool to see that they did draft guys that they thought were good talents, but are actually going to play. They're gonna see the field this year. So that part alone is cool. Round of applause to Steeler Lee. We got another donation. Steeler Lee says, I think he takes Claypool's place on the wide receiver reverse that Canada likes to run. Nope. I don't think he's going to take his place. Think about this. We saw that with both McLeod and Claypool. I think you're going to continue to see that. And I think it would be wise for Canada to do that so they can't just key on Calvin Austin. You don't want it to be a situation where anytime he goes in motion, we know he's getting the ball, or anytime he comes out there. So you definitely want to keep it honest. You want to keep it honest where you run it to Claypool sometimes. Sometimes you might fool around and run it to Pickens. I doubt it, but you understand what I'm saying. You want to mix it up. We ran it one time with Fryermuth. So you want to keep mixing it up. Don't want it to be a complete replacement. I would like for Canada to keep it to where Claypool is still a threat to do that and Austin is a threat to do that. And that's how it becomes more effective. You don't want to key on it. You don't want it to become the Juju shuttle where we knew what was going to happen. You want to keep that option open to multiple receivers. So we'll see. But I like that pick for sure, man. I really like that pick. We need a blazer. He is a blazer. I know he's a smaller guy, but all we need him to do is to be a blazer. And he clearly can do that. Next on the list, Marvin Liao. 3rd round pick at pick number 84. The Steelers decide to go with a defensive lineman who plays inside and out. So that's why I said that's kind of taking the edge. Kind of, because he can help you with pass rush, even though he would probably rush more from the inside. But Steelers elected to go with this guy. I haven't watched a ton on him either. I do remember him again, from watching A&M last year. I remember seeing him, when I was watching Dan Moore and Buddy Johnson. But not enough to where I could give you a full report. Haven't watched a full game on him yet. I watched mostly Kenny Pickett since Thursday. I'm telling y'all right now. I have watched 5 Pitt games. Full games. But anyway, we'll get to that. But, listen, I'm going to trust the Steelers here, man. They've identified something in him. What I'm hearing from most people, even Kenyon said this dude has a outstanding motor, but the knock on him is he can be inconsistent. Also, what some people are saying, and again, I listen to what folks say, and then I go see if I can see the same thing there, or I go and see what my opinion is after watching them. Same reason why Kenyon said, look, I know about X player, you watch him and then we'll talk about it. And that's why we do it. Both of us will either see the same thing. Sometimes he'll see something I don't. Sometimes I might see something that he don't. Sometimes we both will see the same thing and say, we don't like this guy, right? So I say that, and I'm going to say this again when I get to Kenny Pickett. I say that to you guys, man, because don't just listen to what the media pundits are saying. People get too wrapped up in that. I have debates with people all the time when they want to tell me about a player and they're regurgitating literally what so-and-so said on CBS, or what Stephen A said, or what this guy said. I mean, they literally saying it back to me verbatim. And I'm like, you only saying that because you heard. No. It's cool to listen to other people, but what do you think? Like, I love listening to analysts that I respect, right? I listen to guys who played the game, not only because they played the game. There's plenty of people who know football who've never played football. You don't have to have played football to be a wizard at football as far as knowing the sport. But I listen to certain players because I know what type of players they were. That's number one. Like, I listen to guys like Baldy, right? And then I listen to guys, like our buddies over at Depot. I think they do a phenomenal job breaking things down, but it doesn't mean that you have to agree. You might not agree with everything Dave says or everything Alex says, everything Baldy says, everything I say, everything Charles Davis said. I mean, and the list goes on and on. But I encourage you can listen to guys that you respect, guys who have a good track record, or maybe it's your cup of tea, but then watch stuff for yourself and develop your own opinion. Don't just go off of what somebody else said. It's just like when people say they love a movie, you watch the movie and you don't like it. Or how many times have somebody told you a movie was and you watched it and was like, oh no, I thought it was dope. It's the same thing. The common denominator is football though. So a lot of times you'll probably feel some of the same things as the other person, but watch it for yourself. Have your own opinion. Anyway, I went on a tangent there. But anyway, Marvin Liao, I still got to watch a little more on him. And that's the best I can give you today. Next week, give you a better report. Draft pick number 2, George Pickens. Hey, man. Hey, ain't much I got to say about this one. Phenomenal pick. Phenomenal pick. That's all I can say. Clearly, if this guy didn't have an ACL injury early in 2021, he more than likely was in the running as probably arguably could have been the best receiver in the draft. Same could be said about London. These guys don't suffer. Man, George Pickens, this kid, from what I've seen, because I definitely watched some Georgia games. Kenya knows that. And I'm going to go watch more. Some of the ones I didn't watch in real time last year, I'm going to really focus on Pickens. But I mean, what else can you ask for? Size, speed, footwork. Definitely want to check and see his route running and things like that. See if he's an all-around guy, because these are the things I got to hone in on. But he's a typical X. And a dog. A dog. I mean, like it's like he loves contact. It's like he loves to big boy DBs in the blocking game. And how many clips have you seen of him pushing somebody to the ground? A dog on that field. This to me was a steal. He's going to fit the mold. He's going to fit the mold of what we want, or what we're accustomed to seeing as far as physical. And I think hopefully he will light a fuse or light a fire under Claypool and show Claypool how you're supposed to be dominating at your size. And with the speed that we know you have, for whatever reason, you don't show it on the field. Pickens, I don't really have nothing bad to say right now. I'm actually going to watch his film looking for things not to like. Because right now, from the games that I watched in real time, and even in 2020, I have nothing bad to say about picking this guy where we got him. And let me speak on his injury. Remember when I said, man, how much credit I gave Juju as a person for him coming back from that injury and playing in that playoff game when he didn't really have nothing to play for from a personal standpoint? He put himself at risk. You go out there and re-hurt yourself, your market is going to be very small. But I was like, that shows character. He was like, nah, I'm going to play. This kid, being younger than Juju, being in college, knowing he's going to get drafted, could have easily sat out the entire year. He decides and comes back. Rehabs super fast and then comes back and plays. Love that. That's character. And I'm not saying he would have been wrong to not play. I would understand. Nah, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to go in the draft. But get a little bit of extra from me when I see you do something like that. Hats off to him. And like I said, this dude is a dog. A baller. Got good hands. Like, I can't wait to see what this dude is going to bring to the table, man. I'm really excited. I'm really excited by this too. Really excited about the lineups we could potentially put out there. There could be an opportunity, man, where we have Deontay Johnson at his normal X spot, Claypool in the slot, maybe Pickens at the Z. You might see situations, since Pickens is an X, you put him at X. You slide Deontay in the slot. Doesn't do it often, but we've seen him do it. Put Claypool at the Z. You might see a situation where, oh man, Matt Canada, please do this. We might see a 4 receiver set where you got Pickens and Deontay on the outside. You slide Austin and Claypool on the inside. A 2x2 set. And let's not forget Pat Freiermuth. Listen, I'm going to be honest. As of today, I'm not going to get overly excited, but I'm excited by what this offense could possibly be with these weapons now at receiver, Najee, Freiermuth, and then we got Kenny Pickett at quarterback or Mitch Trubisky. I'm going to get to that. So let's move on to Kenny Pickett, and that'll be the last guy I talk about, and then I'm going to get you guys on the phone, and I'll give you my grade here as well. Steelers select Kenny Pickett at pick number 20 of the 2022 draft. I know some of you guys are probably still shocked, as am I. You guys remember my reaction, Debbie's reaction, Destiny's reaction, Kenyon's reaction. None of us believed it. And let me explain to you why we reacted that way. Because here's what's so funny. I went back and looked at the comments on some of the videos. And it's funny to me how people, number one, when they watch YouTube, they do not watch the entire video. Okay, maybe you're busy. I don't know. But it cracks me up that people don't watch the whole video, because what they do is they make a comment about something you did or didn't do, quote unquote, that you actually did do in the video. They just didn't watch it long enough. People watch YouTube as if they're just looking for the headline. So it was so funny to see people say how much I hate Kenny Pickett. And I'm like, wow. A lot of them people I didn't even respond to, because I'm like, clearly they don't listen. Clearly they didn't watch that video long enough to see why we said what we said about the pick, why we felt the way we felt, because it wasn't Willis. In that same stream, most of y'all here tonight remember, I went on to say verbatim, all right, let me put the coach's hat back on, and I went on to say why they may have selected Pickett. Oh, but oh no. It's funny, guys, when you talk to people in public and you become a YouTuber, and I always do this because I'm nobody. Yeah, some of y'all lift me up, but I'm nobody. Just a talking head on YouTube. I'm a regular Joe like everybody else. But when you are in the public eye, there's always these people who just want to be a nuisance for no reason. Like, it's a weird fetish. I would go as far as say fetish. It's like they claim they hate you, but they watch everything you do. Like, one person actually said that we think we know everything. And they said especially Kenyon. It's comical to me, because I'm like, well, if you hate that so much, why are you watching? But anyway, let me get back to the point. The reason why I reacted the way I did because of that pick. I've been saying for the longest time, I will say it here again for those of you that don't know, because I can't assume that everybody's watching the video has been here before. I do not think Kenny Pickett is a bad quarterback. I do not think Kenny Pickett is trash. I don't even think it was a bad pick. Kenny Pickett is probably the most pro-ready out of any of those quarterbacks. If we had to hand him the keys. He's a good quarterback. Some people don't think so, but we're going to get into that in a moment. The only reason why I was on the Malik Willis train is I was only looking at potential upside. And I even said in the video, and I'll say it in this video, I'm sure I was being biased by potential. Remember when I said, man, I can't recall, a time where I've actually seen a Lamar Jackson-esque type of quarterback. Not Slash, because when Slash was doing it, it wasn't really what it is now. So I don't really put Cordell in that mix. But I was just being biased on the potential of some of those unscripted runs and things of that nature, and yada, 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 and his arm strength. But if we're being honest, Malik Willis had a lot of holes that he was going to have to fill in. A lot of inconsistent things. I mean, I don't think nobody would disagree with that. Most of us was just looking at the potential of what he could be. And then a lot of you guys didn't want a quarterback at all, which is fair. So that was the reason why I reacted the way I did. Like, no. However, Kenny Pickett, not a bad quarterback in my opinion, from what I've saw. Watch 5 games of Kenny Pickett between Friday and yesterday. Let me give you my quick thoughts. And this is not final. I'm gotta keep studying. But these are just quick things that I pointed out about Kenny Pickett. He could throw the deep ball, but his arm doesn't seem the strongest. And what I mean by that is I didn't see a whole lot of times where the ball was out in front. He put some balls on the money, from the games I watched. And again, I didn't watch all of the games. So I could, some of you guys might say, well, did you watch this one? Maybe I didn't. And there were some times when he put the ball out in front when he threw it deep, but I didn't see that on enough consistency. I don't know if it's his arm strength or is it just where he's trying to place it. Because like I said, there were some times when I saw him hit dudes in stride deep downfield. I'm being like a 30, 40 yard pass in stride, right on the money. But I saw other times where the receiver had to slow down a bit, right? And even though the ball gets there and the catch is made, it wasn't out in front enough. Again, this is 5 games of watching. I saw good times where the ball was led the guy perfect or was in stride, but I saw quite a few times where it wasn't so much in stride. So that's something I'm going to keep my eyes on to see whether or not he doesn't have a strong enough arm, or maybe he has a limit. Maybe he can't really throw beyond X amount of yards. So that's what kind of jumped off so far. Again, that's not final. It's just kind of what I saw. He has run read option in that offense. He's also run design quarterback runs in Pitt's offense. 40 touchdowns versus 7 interceptions. Can't deny that. I saw him throw a couple pump fakes in the films I watched. The tape I watched, even with his miniature hands, as they say. It's not going to be the Big Ben pump fake, but I didn't really see too much trouble with hand size in just the games I watched. He does have a tendency to drift in the pocket a bit in some scenarios. There were times where I felt like it's almost like he's relying on his ability to escape the pocket. And sometimes I felt like when I looked at the play in totality, he probably could have stepped in the pocket more and bought himself another second or two and perhaps made a pass rather than drifting a little bit. And then when pressure's coming from the outside, he rolls around. He's able to escape, yes. But I definitely see what some people were saying, because I didn't know that. I heard people say that, but seeing it myself, yes. My definition of him drifting in the pocket at times in those games was, like I said, he has pressure coming from the outside. There's room in the pocket where he could step up in there and buy himself another second or two to get the pass off. Much like, what a guy like Tom Brady has done most of his career with not being a super mobile guy. Just little maneuvers. I did see that there was times that I thought he had the ability to do that, but he didn't. He kind of relied on his ability to bail. So little things like that, I feel like you can correct. He throws a lot of 50-50 balls, throws a lot of back shoulders. So we're going to see some of that. Big Ben used to take that shot on the outside. So I'm not saying that, Pickett does that at a regular rate, but definitely noticed in the 5 games that I watched that he definitely has a tendency to do that when it's one-on-one, which in my opinion is smart. You're throwing it away from the coverage in a sense when it's back shoulder. He's kind of throwing it up and allowing his guys to go get it. That stuck out to me because you think about a George Pickens and you think about hopefully a Chase Claypool. So makes me think that, Kenny Pickett is definitely going to look for those situations when he has them, whenever he plays. Again, we don't know if he's going to play this year or not. He can make plays with his legs. And I wrote that LOL after that. Where's this narrative coming from? And I'm going to go back to the chat because I want to see if any of you guys comment on this. Where's this narrative of Kenny Pickett not being mobile? I'm confused. I've seen people say that. I'm like, huh? Now, maybe there's different definitions of mobile. Maybe some people only think a mobile quarterback is a Lamar Jackson type or a Josh Allen type that just, they're going to run. But I'm very confused at the narrative that Pickett is not mobile. Yes, like Still Blitz just said, Burrow is mobile. Is he a runner? No, but he's mobile in the pocket. So I'm confused. I'm a little confused by that. And I'm starting to think again, and I'm looking at some of the Steelers fans' comments. I'm starting to think that guys are just feeding into their own narratives and calling out things that are not necessarily true. I'm waiting here. I want to see what you guys say in the comment before I move on. Is he mobile? Is Kenny Pickett mobile to you guys? Do you guys consider him being mobile, or does he have mobility? Round of applause to C. Antoine Hill. We got a donation here. Thank you, brother. He says, what's up, Sim? Is there a way Kenny Pickett could increase his arm velocity and his throws? Because I heard his fastball was crazy. Yeah, I guess so, man. It's just like I said, I need a little more. I need to see a little more out of him, maybe in a training camp setting where they're just throwing the ball. Because I don't remember. Was Kenny Pickett, was he at the combine? Guys, I don't remember. If he was, maybe I could see if I could pull that footage if he was there. Because I want to know, does he not have the arm to throw it deep? And like you said, I want to see his fastball. I did see him zip the ball in a few times, in the games that I watched. But I just want to see a little bit of what his arm is just in air, right? In shorts. So we can at least tell what his ability is. Like guys like Mahomes or like Vic, that reportedly Vic threw a ball out of the stadium right now at 41 years old. I want to see that. So I want to see him in that setting and just see, when they be like, go deep. And I want to see how his deep ball looks. How far is it going? Where is he placing it? In those quick, short, intermediate routes. Is there zip on it? Things like that. Because like I said, he throws the ball and he takes deep shots. but I'm just not sure from what I saw how often that ball is really going to be placed, like leading them out front and allowing the guy to run under it. Ball seems to get there, but it doesn't seem like it has a lot of pop. So the jury is still out on that for me. Why Diggy says, yes, he is mobile. Still Blitz says, yes, he is. Pickett compared himself to Joe Burrow. Okay, that's not a bad thing. Debbie says he is mobile. Maybe the perception isn't what people see as a running quarter. That's got to be what it is, Debbie. Because I was shocked. Even my man on Steelers Depot said it. Dave Bryan even said he's not mobile, and Alex kind of countered that, and I was like, yeah, I don't see where people are saying he's not mobile. I'm really confused by that narrative, but I don't know. Let's see. What else do I have on Pickett, guys? I wrote here, he is a little... I think he does carry the ball a little too loose when he takes off to run. I have that notated here as well, so I definitely like to see him, at least focus more on protecting the ball. In the NFL, everybody's swiping at it. So if he decides to take off the run, I want to make sure that, at least maybe he changes kind of the way that he carries. Because that if he fumbles one time, then the quote unquote small hands thing, we're all going to talk about it. We all are. So I just hope he can adjust things like that, man. And, when he gets out of the pocket, definitely be more aware of the way he carries the ball, if you will. What else? I thought I had something else. See, we got another donation here. Round of applause to Keen Go Crazy. He says, I think people get caught up on physical traits. You can be good without them. Look at Joe Burrow, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, etc. Yeah, man. Listen. To me, Kenny Pickett looks like he could be productive for the Steelers. How long of a career is he going to have? I don't know. Is he going to be the next franchise quarterback? It's possible. Is his ceiling as high as one would think Malik Willis's was? Maybe not, but at the end of the day, who knows? I do think Kenny Pickett has another gear that he can hit in the NFL, but maybe he's not going to be much more than what we've currently seen in college. But honestly, I don't think that's bad. I don't think what I'm seeing out of him is bad. You clean up some of his inconsistencies, because all of these quarterbacks are going to need work. Every quarterback does coming out, for the most part. I think Kenny Pickett is going to be a solid quarterback. Yes, I was more high on Malik Willis because of potential. But if we're talking about today, and imagine if we had to give it to another quarterback other than Mitch Trubisky today, which one of these guys would be at least semi-ready to play today? That's going to be Kenny Pickett. I have to admit that after watching his film. What else did I say here? Keeps his eyes downfield while he's on the move. That is a plus. So he's not a... Remember what I said a long time ago. Remember, guys, when I said I would rather a Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes type rather than a Lamar Jackson type? The guys that just, are more amped to run. Lamar has settled that down a little bit more, and as he's gotten a little bit older in the league. But you know what I'm saying. I'd rather a guy that can run, but is looking to pass. He's more mobile, using his mobility to extend plays, but can run if necessary. That is the type of quarterback I prefer. A guy that is respected enough with the run that you have to honor him running in an RPO or read option. Pickett has done all of those. So, but I don't necessarily need the Lamar Jackson type. I would take a guy like that can pass versus a guy who's more of the runner. So, just my opinion. And then the last thing I put here was accuracy is pretty good. but there is room for improvement. A couple times I did notice, he may have threw the ball a little bit behind his receiver, but when he was on, he was on. So from what I saw, again, I watched 5 games. I'm going to watch more. I'll ask you guys like I did in the other video, if you can recommend which games, if you're a Kenny Pickett fan, which games do you recommend me watch? But from the games that I watched, he's pretty accurate for the most part. He's not a whole lot of accuracy issues, not outside of the norm of any other quarterback. It seems like when he had to make a throw, he made a throw, and he's pretty daggone accurate. So that's my early thoughts on Kenny Pickett from 5 games. There's much more for me to watch and dissect. You don't see everything the first go round, but all in all, man, I think the Steelers did a solid job in this draft. I would give them a B+. The reason why I'm going to say B+, you could easily say B-. Some people might feel like C+. I think that's a little too low graded, but I'm going to tell you why I say B+. I would go B+ because of the first 4 picks. Kenny Pickett, I think, was the most NFL ready out of this class. It's not about what we wanted, guys. It's about what the Steelers had in mind. The Steelers been told us they were going to draft a quarterback. More than likely, they were going to draft one of the top 5 guys as far as prospects. They sat at 20, and I'm giving them points for that. Not moving up, even though reports say they tried. Hey, I can only go off of what actually happened. They were able to sit at 20. They got who most people would say is the most well-rounded out of the group. And you need a quarterback. And this could end up being a guy that has to play. Because remember, a lot of y'all don't like Mitch Trubisky. Good amount of y'all don't like Mason Rudolph. So if you're in that camp, what else did you expect the Steelers to do? Unless you were in the Malik Willis train. Might have been. But I'm just saying, I've seen some people say they shouldn't even have drafted a quarterback, which is fair. Because I even said, hey, man, Mitch Trubisky is a nice bridge player. I was cool with that. But there were many others that were not. So I'm only talking to those who had no confidence in Trubisky or Rudolph. What did y'all expect the Steelers to do? You should have known they were going to take a quarterback. So the only thing that you can be upset about is that maybe they didn't take the quarterback you wanted. That's it. George Pickens, hit. That is a hit. Period. The Marvin Liao, from what I saw, limited, but I saw a game of his. He looks like he has some real skill. He's a little inconsistent from what I'm hearing. I'm going to watch that myself so I can, confirm that and see how I feel about it. And, it's said sometimes, depending on where he's at on the line, he can get washed a little bit. So definitely want to look at that further so I can have a real analysis on him. But I think that was a strong pick because a lot of people projected him to be picked higher. Right? And then Calvin Austin, man, I just think whether you like that guy or not, I'm giving the Steelers the grade based off of them addressing the wide receiver position with 2 guys that are going to play and I think will be productive this season. So for that and having perhaps your future quarterback, I got to give him a B+ just for the first 4 picks. The other picks, round 6, 7, and 8, round 6 and 7, they're going to have to prove it. Clearly Connor Haywood is going to have to make the team. We'll see what happens with Mark Robinson and then Chris Oludokin. We'll see. Could they have gotten a guy in free agency? Maybe. Perhaps he would have been there. So I don't, we can always argue that. But the one thing that I'm always going to say, man, is you have to trust the organization, guys. You have to. You just have to. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is what these people do every day, all day. So I got to trust the organization. That's it. I could say what I would have done, what I wouldn't have done. I'm not the GM. I'm not the head coach. I don't work in that line of business. And, what I always try to do as a fan is not get so wrapped up in being a fan to where I hate and despise a decision the team makes. I can disagree, but you got to trust that there must have been something about Kenny Pickett that they preferred. Malik Willis was there in the third. Now, maybe you can make this argument, and I agree with you. Then I'll take it to the phone calls, and I apologize, guys. We won't have as long for calls, obviously, and I knew I was going to run a little over tonight as far as my talking, because it's a lot to get through. But listen, man, you could argue that maybe the Steelers shouldn't have drafted Pickett, got another player, and then came back in the second and drafted Willis. Or drafted Ritter, or any of those dudes. You saw Hal, what did he go in the fifth? So if that's your argument, that's fair. I can't disagree with that. It's just an opinion. But I'm just trying to say there's an obvious reason why the Steelers chose Pickett over the rest. And they decided that they needed to go get him where they got him. It is what it is. So, but all right, man, we got 4 calls in the queue. Let's get through them, guys. Y'all know the routine, man. Quick, fast, state your piece, your points, and we'll get through these calls and we'll get out of here. So first in the queue, we got area code 973. What you got for us?
What's going on tonight, son?
Nothing much, man. What's going on?
Oh, everything's good. I'm gonna address the draft, and I'm gonna address the Devin Bush. I've been watching some videos with Devin Bush working out. He looking like the old Devin Bush. And let's be fair, the defensive line didn't give Devin Bush really no help. They didn't keep him clean. Our defensive line was, I'm gonna use your word, hot garbage. Last year, we couldn't stop a nosebleed. And the Steelers draft, I like it. I'm going A. I like Kenny Pickett. They watched him grow. He's right next door. They ate like I was watching the Ike Teller show. Ike Teller, like we got him a lot of weapons. You know, George Pickens. They saying they compare him to Martavius Bryant. Mm-hmm. You know, and I really like it. So I'm gonna go with an A with the Steelers, man. You know, and Devin Bush, I believe he's gonna have a breakout year this year. And see what the Steelers did was smart. They ain't pick up the fixed year option like they did Terrell Edmonds. So even if he do ball out, because I think he was projected to get $11 million if they picked up the 5th-year option. So Pittsburgh just did business. They doing the business. I trust the Steelers and the Rooneys. We trust Mr. Colbert, Mike Tomlin. You know, let's just rock out. You have a good night, brother.
Man, you do the same. Appreciate the call. And yeah, you know, we all have our opinions, man, but I tend to agree with you. I don't have a problem with how this played out. Of course, it's TBD, you know, and if Pickett doesn't do well, I know people, see, guys, every team goes through this. Nobody hits 100% on every draft pick. No team hits 100% on every first rounder. So I just, you know, again, like I said, as I've grown more mature in my fanism and now, quote unquote, covering the team, I learned to separate those things. These things happen. This draft stuff is not a you know, a magic formula. It's not an exact science. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. That's just how it works. And even the players that some of you guys prefer to have, some of them are going to end up being a bust. It's just how it goes. Like, there's no exact science to it. So I just have to get behind it, man. You know, I can disagree, but once it's done, it's done. Now I'm just going to root for Kenny Pickett. Mr. Winningham, 803, what you got for us?
Hey, good evening. You know, Kenny Pickett isn't going to be Terry Bradshaw, the big arm. He's not going to be Ben Roethlisberger, the big arm. Remember when Tom Brady first came out? Accurate, mobile. And I can see Kenny Pickett starting his career out that way. He can evolve into big arm quarterback one day. So it's quite possible. we needed a dog in the second round and wide. We needed a dog on the offense, period. And it was ironic that Chase Claypool might have called out his replacement. But I'll give our first 4 rounds at 8. Yeah, he might have called out his own replacement. It reminded me of Juju being drafted. But I give our first 4 rounds at 8. The most pressure on this team this summer, and I love when you get these guys in the camp and stuff to see what the team look like. Connor Hayward, I would hate to be him, really, because he is Cam's big little brother, and you compete not only with Derek Watt, you got Trey Edmonds in there, and those guys got the experience level over him. He's only 6 foot tall. Shannon Sharp was 6'2", Hall of Fame tight end. It's kind of hard to. I don't know how they're gonna do something with Haywood. I felt that we needed. Only thing I wish we would address at that level would be a cornerback, corner.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'll give us a solid B because I give us an A for the first 4 picks. But those last 3 picks, so I give us a solid B. We didn't get 6,000 4th round draft picks like the Ravens got, but they won't be able to keep all those guys. Before the season, we'll be able to pick up some nice picks. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great week.
Man, thank you as well, Mr. Whittingham. And yeah, I'm going to stick right there with Connor Haywood. You're right. It's going to be tough on him, man. I mean, even to add on to what Mr. Whittingham said, he got his big brother there that, you got to impress him too. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be tough on him. I'm just curious to see how they're going to label it. Like I said, my gut feeling is they're going to just make him a tight end and keep, quote-unquote, 3 tight ends because he's not getting Derek Watt off the team. Derek Watt is too much of a ace on special teams. So, we shall see. We shall see. All right, moving right along, guys. We got 5 calls remaining in the queue, so we got to get through them. That's 6. We got 6 now, so we got to get through these calls. Let's keep it quick. Let's keep it snappy. Area code 859. What you got for us?
What up, Phil?
What's going on?
This Carmichael. This draft overall, I'm gonna give it an A. The 6, 7, those late picks really like who comes in and start at those picks? Like they really depth pieces, or that's where you get your experimental players that you want to mold into something. So I'm cool with the draft. I liked it. I guess driving the Kenny train, and I made that call the night before the draft telling you why he got a baseball background, which that's what I loved about him the most was his baseball background. But they grabbed Pickens in the second with a huge catch radius that's going to be super friendly to a rookie quarterback because of that. And we got our exclusive route runner. So we sitting pretty on offense, but I just want to see it before I get overly hyped about it. But other than that, man, on the Connor Hayward situation, I believe that dude is guaranteed a spot on the team because of the fact that he is probably going to be the new Benny Snell, how Derek Watt, they both special team guys, but I think he going to take the Benny Snell role and be a special team guy and use when they got something drawn up for him. But, yeah, otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, and I just wanted to call in. I appreciate you taking my call, and that's all I got to say.
Appreciate that, Carmichael. Definitely. Thanks for calling. Like always, appreciate all you guys' calls. Yeah, we'll see. And I think Connor has the ability to make the team. I'm just curious to see where the Steelers are viewing him. And yeah, I'm not going to get too overly hype about that offense, but just the thought of it, I am very, very, very intrigued and excited to see what it can be, whether it's with Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky. Because now we got weapons all over the place. All over the place on offense. So I'm interested to see, man, what it's going to, evolve to. Next up, 651, what you got for us?
up, Sam?
What's going on?
Not much, man. I'm gonna make this part quick and simple because I want to talk about Pickett. But so far, we got baby AJ Green, baby Tuitt, and baby Tyreek. That's self-explanatory when you look at the tapes, right? All right, but I think one of the biggest reasons people got mad about the Pickett pick is because all year we heard that Pickett wouldn't be there. So it was all about Malik Willis and Ritter. So our mind is programmed to say, oh, we want Willis over Ritter, or I want Ritter over Willis. But then when Pickett was there and we took him, it just took that excitement away because people were just looking for that pick. You didn't even think he'd be there. So I could see how that would happen. But then I think one thing that nobody thinks about is how does he fit in on the team. Pickett, if you look at the weapons we got now, including this draft, you don't need a quarterback to be the star. You need him to be humble enough to move that ball around to people. Don't be the show. Be part of the show. Put those balls in those guys' hands as fast as you can, and keep the offense moving. So, keep the but keep the offense moving, man. And then the second part of it is a lot of the players on the team watch Pickett grow up there. He's going to be like a little brother. So that whole celebrity status of coming in and being a star quarterback is going to feel a little different there. They're going to embrace him, bring him in, and he's going to look at them like, if y'all with me, I'm with y'all. Whatever y'all say, hey, whatever you want me to do. You want me to carry the shoulder pads? Because he's grown up around him. So I think that's another element of it. So I think the personality traits of him is one of the reasons they decided on there, too. He can fit in that offense and spread the ball around. But that's it, man. Thank you.
Man, that's a great point. Gotta give you credit for that, man. Is that the culture is already there. The team, I'm sure most of the players know him, and like you said, he's gonna come in already with that's little Kenny. You know what I mean? Like, and he knows what to expect. He's been in the practice facility, obviously, because it's in the same building, and he don't have to be the star. And like you said, he's gonna spread the ball around. I mean, even in the games that I watched, clearly Addison was his guy. But he would throw it to the other kid, Wayne, number 5, I think he was. Number 11, I forget what his number is. He check it down to the back. Kenny Pickett definitely has a very nice, controlled, managed game, right? With talent. He also has talent, and I think you hit on it. I think you're right. I think a lot of people didn't expect him to be there, so that is one side of it. And like I said, I openly admit my bias was I was just thinking about the what could be with Malik, and I kind of dismissed Pickett because I definitely didn't think Pickett and both of them would be there at 20. So that's a good point that you make there. All right, guys, look, man, we got 4 more calls. We gotta go fast. Area code 937. What you got for us?
What's up, Sam? Can you hear me, my brother?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Hey, it's Johnny, man. What's up, everybody? What's up, Steelers family? Oh, man, you're going to have to cut me off. But it's all right. There ain't going to be no hard feelings. Just cut me off, Sam, because I'm too fired up. I want to give a shout-out to Mr. Wisdomham. You gave him the name. I like that, man. I want to give a shout out to Miss Debbie and Miss Destiny and of course your boy Keenan, because we enjoyed the draft. We watched y'all draft. All these drafts out here, but we chose to watch your draft. Can you feel me?
Oh yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, they did a good job. It was very professional. Anyway, so my draft grade, brother, is a B. Straight up B, not B minus, not B plus, just a straight up B. And that's good. If I brought home straight B's to my mama, on my report card, she would be pleased with that.
Right.
But the only thing, this is the problem I had, and I ain't gonna lie, I feel a certain way. My thing is, if you knew you were going to draft 2 quarterbacks, and the Steelers are precise with them type of things, and they probably knew it, I wish they would have went. I guess I realized I was on Malik Willis more than I thought because my heart kind of dropped a little bit. I don't know what it is, man, but I just felt it. And I was like, man, y'all, they stayed to their word. Because remember, early on, he said, we're going to get 4 quarterbacks. We're going in with 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah. And
rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins, of course. And they did. But my thing was, you could have picked up Malik, man. But I understand as well. We had to get, you know what I'm saying? We got who I believe is going to be a superstar receiver. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. Pickens and Austin. Oh man, oh my! Now those two picks excite me.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that, bro. I'm telling you, man, we're gonna be in the mix, man. Man, we ain't done. We ain't rebuilding. We reloading. I'm telling you, it's gonna be on, man. I got a good feeling about this draft, man. But I wish, man, imagine Malik in that room with all of them. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. But anyway, I gotta let it go. I gotta let it go, man. You know how we Steelers are. We spoiled. But I'm gonna let it go, man. Yeah, 26. I'm looking at I wanted to say this. I got to say with my son, he's been checking you out lately. My 30-year-old son, and he has an eye for people. That's how I would describe it. He said, Sim. He said, Sim is pure with it. Quote. He just said that today. We were talking about it before the show came on. So I'm just saying, man, you got a good thing going on, man. And he said, Sim is pure with it, Pops. And that's what he called me, Pops. But anyway, you know me, I don't care. I don't mind getting personal. I'm not afraid to get personal, my brother. Last but not least, I know I got to let you go. Man, we was rolling. Me and my son was watching Devin Bush's video. I mean, no, I'm laughing because, remember, Sim, we talked about this last season, my brother. Remember, I was like, get him, man. He suffered ACL. That ain't no joke. I said, give him a season. He's going through some mental things. He's a young man. Man, on that video, he was like, oh, wait. Look, me and my son was on the floor rolling, man, because we like, this nigga feels some urgency. Oh, my God, did I say that?
It's all good.
Feels some urgency.
Yeah.
He got Miles Jack breathing down his neck.
He definitely looked like he meant to show us that video.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying he definitely looked like he meant to show us that video for sure. He did.
He's like, I'm about to get this together. No, he ain't taking my job. But that's what's smooth about an organization, man. If you notice that, they will push you. They will bring in competition, like Mike Tomlin says all the time, one bone, many dogs. And I like that, too, because it pushes you, trying to bring out the best in you. And we need that in life as well. There's nothing wrong with somebody trying to bring out the best in you, man. So I'm cool with that. I believe Bush going to be back now. I believe he's going to be balling. Y'all remember I said it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was just rolling like, well, this dude looks serious. He's like, oh, no, I ain't about to lose my job. But anyway, that's good. You need that sometimes. You need a push. You know, all right, man. I guess I'll let you go, man. That's all I got to say. I'm very excited about the wide receivers, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very excited about the wide receivers. And I'll let you go, man. Peace, love, and blessings, Steelers Nation.
Man, Johnny, we appreciate the call. And to Johnny's son, man, thank you for that. Thank you for that. You know, because it's always cool when somebody can see something in you that you're not trying to do, right? I'm just being myself. You can only be your best self. So when somebody says, hey, man, I like that about him, I recognize that, it's always humbling because I know it's not something I'm trying to do. So blessings to you. Appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. And your pops, man, is a cool one. We really love and adore Johnny over here, man. So shout outs to both of y'all. 3 more calls, guys. And I know I let that one go a little long, but listen, you know, Mr. Winningham and Johnny both, they're older than myself. So sometimes I'm just going to let them do their thing. You know what I mean? And I have no shame in that. So let's wrap up these last 3 calls so we can get out of here. Area code 803, what you got for us?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I think that the draft was more about the coaching staff than Kevin Colbert. We all know Kevin Colbert is stepping down. Mm-hmm. And so I think he letting the coaching staff, Matt Canada and Mike Tomlin, do what they want. Because Kenny Pickett is a Matt Canada guy. He throws on a run well. and he has experience with the off-balance line. I'm not sure if you've seen that on the film, but Pitt was still using the off-balance line, and Kenny Pickett was the quarterback. So he was doing these quarter-half rolls. He has experience doing that. Not only that, when he gets on the run, again, he's accurate, so he can run those bootlegs that Canada likes, along with Connor Hayward. And if you watch Canada's film from college, he like using the sniffer tight end, giving him the jet sweep to the tight end, coming around, shovel passes to the tight end. That's a staple for Matt Canada, and I think that is what Connor Hayward is there for. The last thing I'm going to say is the competition, too. Not just the draft, but the offseason. You have competition everywhere. You have competition at center, competition at quarterback, competition at receiver, and that's Mike Tomlin's thing. You want guys to compete for their spot, and that's what he set up. But that's it. That's all I got to say. I'm going to let you move on. Thanks for taking my call.
Man, thank you, man. Those are some great points you made there. And ironically, I watched a game today. Which game was it? Where I saw Connor Haywood doing exactly that. You know, he did the screen. He came from the left side, kind of like a tunnel screen. So, yeah, some of the stuff that he does, Matt Canada already has incorporated in the offense. We even saw that last season. So, yeah, listen, I think Connor definitely has a role. I'm just curious to see how the Steelers are going to package it. And I have a feeling that with, the tight end coach saying, well, we got him listed as a tight end. I think one of the tight ends are not going to be there. Obviously it's going to be Muth and Gentry. And I think Connor might slide in there as the third quote-unquote tight end. And we're going to use him. As long as he makes the team, we're definitely going to use him. So I agree with you there. And thanks for calling, man. I'm not sure if you called before, so I appreciate it as a first-timer. 2 more calls, guys. Let's get in. Let's get out. Area code 313. What you got for us?
Hey, man. This your boy, Dixon, Trey. I'll be listening to you and Smitty on y'all's little podcast, but this going to be quick and sweet. What I take away from the draft, I appreciate them getting Pickens, which is Carl Pickens' son. He's back in the, late 80s, 90s, which you can see it's like a chip off the old block, catch radius and everything. So he's been training as a receiver from an all-pro anyway. That's one good thing, and that's what Tomlin like is guys with pedigree, no different than the Haywood brothers coming from Ironhead. So you got that going back to back to back. The next thing I wanted to just peep your ear on, I peeped at the little free agents. Guys, I want you, if you get a chance to look at, check out Chris Owens. I like from Alabama, who can play multiple line positions, and he's kind of agile, can get out in space, which Najee already know how to run behind his big butt because he played. Looking at how those 2 running backs he picked up in free agency. Now, I'm going to really watch that, and I'm going to try to get to St. Vincent's College this year to watch them at training camp.
I really want to do that as
Great
well.
guy.
Yeah. I want to see if I can get out there.
I'm going to get my draft when I go out to training camp and see it. Like you say, the eye test. I'm going to watch everybody myself. Then I can come away with a real thing, seeing how they're looking at in practice. Until they get on the field and put on their pass, everything is speculated. Like you said, it's just an opinion. Yeah. So y'all have a blessed one. Y'all be good. God bless and all that. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Man, 313, we appreciate you calling. The phone was going in and out a little bit, so we might have missed a few things that you said, but I got the gist of it. Yeah, man, listen, I definitely want to see. I might try to find a way to go to Latrobe this year, man. I haven't done it before. Of course, I've been to Steelers games, but I've never gone to training camp. So that might be something might be able to do, man. Holler at father-in-law Leonard and brother-in-law Tony and see if they want to do that, man. Maybe we can make that happen this year. And speaking of which, the last call of the night, I already know who it is, just looking at the phone number. So we're going to end with this call. Area code 240. What you got for us tonight, brother?
Hey, hail to the black and gold, brother.
What's going on, man?
I haven't been on for a while, man. You guys did a great job. Debbie and Pittsburgh women did a great job. Destiny, as always, man. Kenyon, oh man, y'all some bad boys, man. That's all I got to say about it. Yeah, man. Hey, I just want to say a few things. I'm gonna hold you up because, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna have to get back on the show. And yes, I definitely was thinking about going to Latrobe, man. We can do that. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. But I just want to say, man, I love the draft, man. You know me, in COVID, I trust Mike Tomlin. I was excited. Yeah. To me, I gave it an A, maybe because I'm a little biased, because I saw the picks. Those were some good picks, man. I just want to run across a few things, man. I'm excited about the team real quick. First of all, think about what we added on defense. Man, I'm excited because of Brian Flores is there too. But the addition of Miles Jack, and let me ask you a question. Remember in the playoffs, we was playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And our defense was holding the fort for at least 2 quarters, right? Remember my boy TJ was running in the end zone on the fumble?
Oh, yeah.
Our defense got a little tired. See, and that leads me to that offense, man. I'm just glad and I'm excited about the new additions on the offensive line. Everything that we're going to do, and I just want to say also with that, I wouldn't be mad if Pickett sat on the bench. I mean, I know today, these guys, man, it's like 365, so they're a little further along than, even when Ben came in, they're a lot more further along now, so they can just come in and play.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at it. If Mitch was able to come in, let Mitch come in. Let's look at the tape. Mitch has what? He has NFL experience. Let me ask you another question. Was he ever in the playoffs? He was in 2 playoff games. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be mad at that, brother. I wouldn't be mad at that if he sat for a little bit. So
he got weapons.
I just want to say that, And he got weapons. And he got a line. And can I ask you another question? Is the coaching culture different from Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We in Pittsburgh right now, buddy. We ain't talking about the Redskins Leon team. I ain't gonna mess with them tonight. we ain't the Redskins now. We know how to do things out here. Okay? But I like the fact that we went and got 2 wide receivers and 2 quarterbacks. And just like Kenyon was saying in the chat, and I think a lot of people, it wasn't a lot of people, but they don't see this. We're in the era of mobile quarterbacks. And if you look at Tomlin's press conference all this year, what was he talking about?
Yep.
You got to pay attention to that. Mobile quarterbacks. He was talking mobile quarterbacks. So now you have another quarterback at the bottom of the draft that you got to kick the tires on. Because let's be honest, your boy Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, now I'm not saying that he's going to take his position, but don't we need mobility? I mean, you got to kick the tires on him. You never know, So, I just wanted to say that. Then you talking about, everybody been kind of talking about Connor. I think Connor can be a sleeper, brother. Now, the question I wonder is if he could do other stuff than tight end. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it's like, I know,
he played running back at Michigan State. I think his first couple years he was more of a running back. So
right,
you never know. We might slide him in there. They're gonna find a unique way to keep him on the roster where he doesn't affect like the traditional spot. Like he's not gonna affect Derek Watt. I saw people saying, "Oh, this could be in to Watt." No. That ain't gonna happen. So I think they're gonna either list him as a tight end or he'll fool around and be listed as a running back. So we'll see.
Yep. I mean, like you said, use check, like the Ravens did. I mean, and he went over to San Francisco, and you saw that it was a game or so when what was it? He was with San Francisco, right? And when their running backs went down or was hurt a little bit, he came in and played a couple of games. So I'm just saying, you never know, And then we'll talk about this another time, but we know our boy, he's a lotto stud. Cam is getting old, man. I'm kind of excited about the young bloods, Lotto Milk, and that guy Leo, man. I would love, and now they bringing those boys in to come in now to play.
Yeah.
Possibly, to get, like they don't give us some guys the rest, and then we're gonna have our boy Oludokin back in the middle. So that's why a lot of times teams is running sometimes, because we need that nose tackle, and Cam had to come in a few times to do that. And that might be something for maybe another draft or so. But right now, I'm excited about what the whole team was doing, man. What they did, they went out. Like you said, they went out and got the wide receiver. And when you was bringing up those wide receivers earlier in the show, I was thinking about Boykins too, man. Never know.
Forget about Boykin. Forget about
Boykins, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, sir. I mean, you think about it. Hey, like you said, you got Fry Move, you got your boy Deontay, and you put it around. What if they put like 3 of them big boys out there? You talk about, Boykins, the young blood we just picked up, picking. And then you talk about Claypool. I mean, those are big boys right there. You know what I'm saying? So, never know. Then we still got the big tight end. So, man, I'm just excited about that. I'm excited about we running the ball. I'm excited about the fact that our offense is going to look different, and they're going to help our defense, because with Ben, man, we couldn't do anything, and we already saw it. We couldn't move the ball in the last 2 years of the playoffs. These last 2, we love them.
Yeah.
But just think if we could have moved the ball. I mean, you think in that Kansas City game, right? Our defense was doing well. Just think if we were able to, like, we was making Kansas City kick the ball. Think if we had an offense that could come down the field. You never know. We could, got some scores. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. But one thing I do know, this year, I'm excited about it, man. So, hey, brother, we'll talk the next time. Hopefully I can get on the next field table, man, and we can get on and chop it up, man.
Yeah, man. We look forward to having you back on, but you, me, and Kenyon always talking, so you ain't missing nothing.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, brother. Yeah, man. So, hey, brother, talk to you later, man. I won't hold you up too much longer, man.
Yes, sir, man. I'll let you later. Appreciate you calling, brother.
Okay. Talk to you.
All right. Yeah, guys, that was Tony. If you guys didn't already catch on, man, good to have Tony on the line there. And we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up the show here. I knew tonight would be long. We just had a draft. I even told my wife that. And this is my tired day. Y'all know this is the day I commute to D.C. But I said, you know what, tonight going to be long. I'm going to let the guys call in. I'm not really going to hone in on the 2-minute thing. I'm going to just let them talk, and we'll pick back up with that the next time. Because, again, I'm always say this in advance. I expect to continue to grow. I expect at some point, especially when the season starts, going to be mad people calling in. So we'll definitely have to start tightening up the length of calls. But that really wasn't it tonight. I wanted to hear everybody's thoughts. Glad to hear from, not me to hear from, I'm glad you guys could able to hear from Tony, Johnny, Mr. Winningham, everybody who called tonight, man. So I knew this would be a long one. We're approaching 2 hours here. But it is what it is. But final thing, man, listen. I like what the Steelers did in the draft. I like them being aggressive. Oh, we had a donation. Let me definitely applaud that. Liberty Library Com. LibertyLibrary.com or .com. Round of applause for the donation. Appreciate that. He says, bro, you are always fire, and I appreciate you and your work. Appreciate that. That's love, man. Humbled by that. Listen, man, I have no work without you guys. I really don't. You know, I would do this for fun, of course, because I love the Steelers. I've been on YouTube many times, so, you know, I used to be a performer, so it's nothing for me to cut a camera on. But I don't have this without y'all. So as much as you guys appreciate me, best believe I appreciate y'all just the same. Love is love. But yeah, man, listen, I love what we did for the most part. And of course, it's other players I'm sure we could have taken at certain spots. Like I said, I don't know each and every prospect to know should we have taken this guy in the third versus Liao, or should we have taken this guy in the I don't know. You know, I just judge based off of the guys that we did pick. And do I feel good about those picks? Definitely the first four. I'm excited about each and every one of those because I think Liao has tremendous upside. I'm sure the Steelers are going to coach him up, maybe put a little more weight on him because I think he's a little lighter than normal. It's funny to say a dude that's like 280 something is light. But I think they said they're going to try to put a little weight on him, you know, so he can get to more of a Cam Haywood type of size. But, man, how could you not be excited by George Pickens and Calvin Austin and even Kenny Pickett? And you know why it's exciting? Because this is a new era. This is a new era for us. Completely new era for us. Oh, man, look at that. Round of applause to my brother Tony, man. Round of applause for the donation. Man. Round of applause to my brother Tony, man. He says, appreciate you, brother. Hail to the black and gold. We going to be bussing and slapping bums around. Y'all, listen, Tony, this is what Tony says all the time. Slapping bums around. Man, I appreciate that. Listen, Tony is family, man. So, you know, I extremely appreciate the donation because clearly he does not have to do that. But yeah, man, listen, it's a new era. It's a new era and it's exciting. It's not the same old Steelers. And listen, we might not be the same old Steelers for better or worse. But it's an exciting time because this has been a long time since most of us have been through this. Some of you guys remember. But like I said, you know, I wasn't covering the Steelers the way I do now when Ben Roethlisberger got drafted. So this is really like my first time watching the team really rebuild. Steelers were my team way back then, of course. But what I'm saying is I wasn't as active in it like I am now. You know, I knew, man, good, Ben could take over for Tommy Maddox. But I wasn't breaking it down the way I am now and so focused on it like I am now. So it is like even a new thing for me to watch this team rebuild and create a new era. And I'm about to cut off Blog Talk. Okay, I don't see anybody still in there anyway. Let me cut that off so the lady is not screaming at us. 90 seconds. But yeah, it's exciting. It's something to be excited for. I think Kenny Pickett is a talented kid, man. Hopefully, you know, he will develop the way we need him to. And I'm not opposed to having Mitch Trubisky play that thing and, you know, let Kenny Pickett sit back and watch and learn. I'm not opposed to that at all. I think Mitch Trubisky will be able to do something with these weapons. But it's also a great sign if Kenny Pickett messes around and he wins the job. So I don't think there's a loss or a lose at all out of this situation. The only loss, I guess, would be is if Trubisky and Kenny Pickett both are trash. That's the only way we lose. Other than that, I don't think it is a problem at all with this competition that's about to be created in training camp. And here's another competition. Mr. Winningham said Claypool was introducing his replacement, but actually it could be Deontay Johnson who gets replaced. Remember, Deontay Johnson is going into a contract year. Remember, Deontay Johnson is out there. It's reported that he's asking for $20 million a year. Some of you guys may not know this, but George Pickens is an ex-receiver, which is where Deontay Johnson plays. So George Pickens could actually be Deontay Johnson's replacement come next season. We shall see. Last donation of the night. Well, I assume it's the last one. From Q, round of applause. He says, Pickens low-key reminds me of A.J. Green. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. What Debbie and Kenya talking about? Y'all a trip. But yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. This has been a wonderful night. I really appreciate that. You guys have kept me, you've definitely kept me up. Because, again, this is my tired day, and I'm going to go upstairs, hang with the wife, watch a little playoff basketball, man, and just, chill out the rest of the evening. But other than that, man, listen, that is my grade. I say B+ only because of those first 4 picks, and I think most of us were right in the B range. Some of you guys were giving it an A, and it openly admitted that it was your bias, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because we Steelers through and through, so I'm cool with that. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out here. Next week, we'll have Kenyon on, and if Tony can make it, Tony will be on, but we will basically recap our true thoughts about each draft pick, because by that time I will be able to have watched all of them. And a shout out to our other caller who said to watch Chris Owens. I definitely will do that as well, because I told you guys I would look at the 2 running backs, so I'll also take a look at Owens. So my homework, extensive homework for the rest of the week, the 2 free agent running backs, Owens, and look at more of the draft picks, and then we'll come here Tuesday and we'll talk about those gentlemen, and that'll be it. So again, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, if you like what you saw tonight, show me. How can you do that? By hitting the like button. Simple. Hit that like button. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe to the channel. Why not? And also, once you subscribe to the channel, make sure you click on your notifications. How else will you know when videos are available? Other than that, y'all know what I'm going to tell you. Stay safe. God bless. Good night. And thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Catch you guys next time. Peace.